lightning, thunder, rain, and typhoons. What do these things all have in common? They are all uncontrollable forces of nature. Or are they? Among the pantheon of Japanese gods, two stand out from the rest: Raijin, the god of thunder, and Fujin, the god of winds. These two deities controlled the storms that fell upon Japan. From the quietest breeze to the destructive winds, these gods oversaw it all, adjusting the weather to their whims. Their stories, rich with ancient wisdom and power, invite us into a realm where the forces of nature are both revered and feared. This is the story of Raijin and Fujin, the gods that destroyed the Mongol army. In the beginning, amidst the swirling water and the infinite void, the creation of the Japanese islands emerged through the divine will of Izanami and Izanagi. From their union, many gods were born, but none as electrifying as Raijin, the god of thunder, nor as turbulent as Fujin, the god of wind. While both Raijin and Fujin were both considered gods, they can also be considered oni, due to their origin and appearance. More on that later. Their entrance into the world was heralded by a crash of thunder, brilliant flashes of lightning and gale of wind, signaling the arrival of two deities whose powers over the storms would become the stuff of legend. Their story begins in the underworld, also known as Yomi. Here the goddess of death Izanami found herself alone, following her untimely death during the birth of Kagutsuchi. Izanagi, the god of creation, could not stand the loss of his beloved wife, and sought to bring her back into the world of the living. As he ventured in Yomi, he searched the vast underworld for Izanami. When he finally found her, he discovered that he was too late. Izanami had been gone for too long, and her body had become a living, rotting corpse. This horrified Izanagi and prompted him to flee the underworld. As he made his way towards the exit, Izanami became furious. Her beloved had turned his back on her, and she would not let this act go unpunished. In her fury, she sent all the oni and demons of the underworld to chase after Izanagi. It was at this moment that Raijin and Fujin emerged, born from the undead body of Izanami. Their birth shook the very foundations of the underworld, creating a storm of unparalleled proportions. These two brothers then led the charge to recapture their father. The brothers almost caught Izanagi, but he was too quick. Izanagi had made it to the exit and sealed it shut with a giant boulder. Before Izanagi could catch his breath, Izanami cursed the world, declaring that she would kill 1,000 people each day. In response, Izanagi declared that 1,500 people would be born each day to ensure that there would always be an abundance of life. With a final sigh, Izanagi returned home. However, there was one thing Izanagi could not foresee. Unlike the others in the underworld, Raijin and Fujin were not easily contained. After countless nights, the brothers finally escaped the underworld. Following the will of Izanami, they brought death and destruction to the world of the living in the form of thunderstorms, typhoons, tsunamis, and floods for centuries to come. Each disaster and every death, a reminder of the curse Izanami had placed onto the world. Raijin, the god of thunder, also known as Raiden, is a figure of awe and fear in Japanese mythology, embodying the raw power and chaotic beauty of the storm. He is often depicted with a fearsome appearance, resembling a muscular ogre, ready to unleash the fury of the heavens at a moment's notice. He possessed white or red skin and flew across the sky on dark clouds, throwing lightning onto unsuspecting inhabitants below. Surrounding him are the drums that are the source of thunder, each beat echoing across the skies and earth, a reflection of his incredible power. His appearance, with wild eyes and often a grim expression, mirrors the unpredictable nature of thunderstorms. Raijin is not a deity of calm skies, but of the tumultuous dance of lightning and thunder, a symbol of nature's untamable fury. Raijin is often accompanied by his companion, Raiju, the thunder beast. Raiju is depicted as a wolf or fox, capable of moving fast as lightning and possesses a roar that resembled thunder. Despite this, Raiju is normally a calm and harmless beast, but during thunderstorms, it becomes agitated, destroying trees, fields, and even buildings. Raijin's power to command these elements makes him a deity revered and feared in equal measure. With a mere gesture, Raijin can unleash torrential rainstorms, nurturing the earth and ensuring the cycle of life continues. His ability to influence weather patterns extends beyond mere rainfall. He can also bring the cleansing power of storms to clear the air and revitalize the land. Yet, this immense power comes with inherent responsibilities. Raijin's storms, while life-giving, can also lead to floods, destruction, and chaos if not carefully controlled. His awareness of this duality ensures he exercises restraint, maintaining the delicate equilibrium between creation and destruction. Despite his daunting presence, Raijin's nature is not solely destructive. He is also a protector, wielding his thunderous power to cleanse the world of malevolence. His roars across the sky can be seen as warnings to the wicked, driving away spirits that wish harm upon the land and its people. In this sense, Raijin's behavior towards humanity is dual-sided. While he demands respect and caution during storms, he is also a guardian against unseen dark forces. While Raijin promised to fulfill Izanami's wishes, his existence was far more complex than that. His dominion over thunder, lightning, and storms positions him as a deity of immense influence, holding the power to both give and take life. The fields that feed the nation, the rivers that cradle its cities, all lie under his watchful eye. With every rumble of thunder, every flash of lightning, Raijin reaffirms his role as the harbinger of rain, essential for the crops that sustain life and the water that quenches the earth. The limitations on Raijin's power are not solely external. The necessity for balance in the natural world serves as an intrinsic check, a reminder that his strength must not lead to unchecked havoc. This duality places upon Raijin a weighty responsibility to balance the beneficial with the potentially destructive aspects of his power. Raijin's wisdom in wielding his power underscores his role not just as a destroyer, but as a protector, guarding the world from the potential excess of his own storms. His duty is not merely to wield the forces of nature, but to master them, ensuring that the storms he commanded both nourished the land and caused harm whenever he deemed it necessary. Fujin, the god of wind, was indeed the perfect counterpart to his thunderous brother. He possessed a similar appearance to Raijin, resembling a muscular ogre. He possessed green skin and flew across the sky on dark clouds, creating winds and calming storms, which speaks to the boundless energy of the air currents he commands. His face, often depicted with a wide, knowing grin or a fierce scowl, captures the dual nature of the wind itself, capable of gentle caresses or devastating fury. Fujin's most distinctive attribute is the bag of winds perpetually slung over his shoulders. These bags of winds are not merely a container, but a symbol of Fujin's control over the invisible forces that sweep across the land. This ancient artifact, from which he releases or captures the winds, allows him to shape the weather, clear the skies, or stir the seas. His command over this element makes him a pivotal figure in the world's natural order, a deity whose moods can alter the course of seasons. Fujin, just like his brother, was far more than just a tool for Izanami's will. He commanded the very winds. From light breeze that blew across the land to the gales that were strong enough to create typhoons, his influence was felt in every corner of the world. With his bag of winds, Fujin shapes the climate, guiding the weather patterns that affect everything from agriculture to navigation. But Fujin's role is not limited to the mere manipulation of the wind. His nature, much like the wind, is capricious, yet essential. He acts as a guardian, protecting the earth from the potential excesses of the storms created by his brother, Raijin. When Raijin's thunderstorms threaten to overflow rivers and flood the fields, it is Fujin's wind that can disperse the clouds, moderating the rainfall and safeguarding the crops below. His actions serve as a counterbalance to Raijin's power. He understands the delicate equilibrium of the world, ensuring that his breeze nourishes and renews, even if they can destroy. His behavior, therefore, is one of careful balance, wielding his vast power to support life and challenge it, pushing the natural world towards growth and change. Fujin's responsibility to manage the wind's power also involves the protection of the natural environment. His winds carry seeds to barren lands, pollinating plants and fostering new growth. They also clear the air of pollutants, providing clean air for all creatures. In essence, Fujin's duty was complex. In addition to creating storms with his brother Raijin, he was also responsible for maintaining the health of the earth, ensuring that the wind serves as a force for renewal and sustenance. In the pantheon of Japanese mythology, Susanoo, the god of storms and seas, stands as a figure of fury and rebellion. While his dominion over the elements overlaps with Raijin and Fujin, he stands as a contrast to the more balanced forces of Raijin and Fujin. While Susanoo's dominion over the seas and storms speaks to a raw, untamed energy that often veers into chaos and destruction, Raijin and Fujin embody the elements of thunder and wind with a sense of purpose and guardianship. Their powers, though formidable, are harnessed with a greater awareness of the natural cycles and the necessity for balance within the world. Susanoo is a figure known for his episodes of violence and confrontation, reflecting his unpredictable nature. In contrast, Raijin and Fujin, despite their own moments of fury and promise to Izanami, ultimately serve roles that contribute to the maintenance of the natural order. They are not agents of chaos, but regulators of the forces at their command, ensuring that life is in a constant balance. This distinction underlines a fundamental difference in their approaches. While Susanoo might revel in the storm's power, Raijin and Fujin seek to channel their energies in ways that bring equilibrium into the world. Among the many tales attributed to Raijin, the legend of his appetite for the bellies of children is perhaps one of the most enduring. It was said that Raijin did not like children who showed their belly buttons and would devour any child caught doing so. This is because Raijin is believed to be jealous of humans and their natural births, while he and his brother were born for their mother's rotting corpse. This story led to generations of parents covering their children's bellies during thunderstorms to protect them from being devoured by Raijin. This story serves not only as a cautionary tale, but also as a reflection of the god's fearsome power and the need to appease him. Another notable legend involves Raijin's confrontation with the dragon god of the sea. While no name is given for the dragon god, it is fair to say that it was not the mighty Ryujin, but rather a lesser dragon. In this tale, Raijin's thunderbolts clash with the sea dragon's waves, a dramatic representation of the natural forces at play. This story, like many others, highlights Raijin's might but also his importance in maintaining the balance between the celestial and terrestrial realms, preventing the forces under his command from causing unchecked destruction. It can be said that their clash is simply a human interpretation of what happens during a massive thunderstorm. In yet another story, Raijin is described as a being of mischief and destruction. This story portrayed Raijin not merely as a force of destruction, but as a being capable of being reasoned with or subdued through the right means. As the story goes, Raijin was responsible for a never-ending storm that brought flooding and destruction to a kingdom. With no other choice, the emperor made a decision to have Raijin captured. He ordered Sugaru, the god-catcher, to imprison the mighty Raijin and put a stop to the storm. Sugaru first petitioned Raijin in the name of the emperor to give himself over willingly and cease the endless storm. Upon hearing this, Raijin laughed in the face of Sugaru. His ego bruised, Sugaru then prayed to Kannon, the goddess of mercy from Buddhist mythology. Kannon answered his prayers and delivered Raijin over to Sugaru. Sugaru then captures Raijin in a sack and took him back to see the emperor. Now under the control of the emperor, Raijin was forced to stop the endless storms, bringing rain and bountiful harvests back to Japan. Fujin, the god of wind, plays a pivotal role that transcends mere control over the elements. One of the most captivating tales of Fujin speaks to the very heart of creation itself. In a different set of myths, it is said that in the early days when the world was enshrouded in a thick, impenetrable mist that concealed the beauty of the islands of Japan, Fujin came to the rescue. Fujin, armed with his powerful bag of winds, took it upon himself the monumental task of clearing these mists. With a mighty gust, he swept away the veils of fog, revealing the land's true form for the first time. This act of creation was not just about displaying power, but was a foundational moment that allowed life to flourish under the sun's nurturing rays. Another legend tells of Fujin's journey across the land, a tale that highlights his benevolent nature. As he traveled, Fujin released the winds from his bag, scattering seeds across the barren earth. These seeds, carried far and wide by his breezes, took root and sprouted, transforming the once desolate landscapes into verdant fields and forests. This story underscores Fujin's role as a nurturer and caretaker, a deity whose influence extends beyond the mere movement of air to touch upon the very essence of life and growth. However, among all the legends of Raijin and Fujin, the story of their defense against the Mongol invasion in the 13th century stands out for its historical significance and the display of divine might. This will be told from the lens of mythology. If you'd like me to cover the historical events of the Mongol invasion of Japan in depth, please let me know in the comments below. In 1274, as the Mongol fleet, vast and formidable, approached the shores of Japan, intent on conquest, the fate of the islands hung in the balance. Their first encounter with the Japanese resistance was on Tsushima and the Iki Islands, led by Taira Kagetaka. Though the Japanese forces fought valiantly, they were outnumbered and ultimately fell when no reinforcements came to their aid. The Mongol army continued to push further into Japanese territory, stopping at Hakata Bay, where they created a bridgehead for their defenses. It is not clear why they decided to stop here, but that night, the Mongol forces decided to remain on their ships, far away from the shores for their own safety. Ironically, it was then that Raijin and Fujin recognized the threat to their land and its people. They gathered their combined powers in an unprecedented act of divine intervention. Summoning a storm of unparalleled fury, they unleashed their wrath upon the Mongol invaders. The winds howled and the thunder roared as the seas turned treacherous under the gods' command. Many of the Mongol ships were unable to withstand the tempest's might and were decimated, scattered like leaves in the wind. In the end, a third of the fleet had been destroyed, which prompted their retreat back to Korea. Though Raijin and Fujin had protected and avenged the Japanese people, that was not the end. Years later, in 1281, the Mongols launched a second invasion. This time, the warriors and samurai were ready. Beaches and shores were fortified in an attempt to prevent the Mongol army from establishing a base on land. The clash between the two armies was legendary, and many stories about the samurai heroes came from this invasion. As strong as the Japanese warriors were, the Mongol army was simply too large. As Japan started to lose ground, Raijin and Fujin decided that they had had enough. Once again, the brothers combined their powers together. Gathering thunderclouds and heavy gales of winds, they unleashed a typhoon of unparalleled proportions. Raijin launched lightning down to the Mongol armies, while Fujin controlled the winds with such precision that standing still was almost impossible. This storm decimated over 2/3 of the Mongol fleet, leaving many stranded on the shores of Japan. Raijin and Fujin continued to unleash their wrath, forcing the remaining Mongol fleet to retreat and never return. The storms which saved Japan from invasion would later be known as kamikaze, meaning the divine wind. They were not just a demonstration of raw power, but a testament to Raijin and Fujin's role as protectors of the Japanese islands. This event, etched in the annals of history, served to elevate Raijin and Fujin to the status of national heroes, guardians who had demonstrated their willingness and ability to safeguard their land from external threats. It's important to note that in other tales, Hachiman, the god of war, is credited with the kamikaze, rather than Raijin and Fujin. In the end, the kamikaze became a symbol of hope and divine protection, a reminder of the god's watchful presence over Japan. Through this legend, Raijin and Fujin's legacy was forever enshrined in the cultural memory of the nation, celebrated as much for their immense strength as for their role as protectors of the land and its people. In Japan, the worship and veneration of Raijin and Fujin are integral parts of cultural and religious life, reflecting the deep-seated bond between the people and these powerful deities of nature. Raijin, with his dominion over thunder and rain, is especially important for agricultural prosperity. Farmers pray to him, seeking the right amount of rainfall that would ensure a good harvest. Too little rain could mean drought, too much could lead to floods. Thus, their prayers are not just requests, but appeals for balance for the perfect conditions that would bring about bountiful yields. Fujin, the god of wind, plays an equally vital role. Farmers and sailors alike look to him for favorable winds. For crops, a gentle breeze can aid in pollination, while for sailors, a favorable wind means a safe and successful voyage. Rituals dedicated to Fujin often involve the offering of leaves or streamers, symbols of the winds, in hopes of earning his favor. Temples dedicated to Raijin and Fujin are scattered across Japan, serving as focal points for worship and pilgrimage, most notably the Taiyuin Rinoji Temple, where statues of Raijin and Fujin can be seen standing at the gates. These sacred spaces are where the devout offer their respects, prayers, and offerings, seeking protection from natural disasters and the chaos that can come from the untamed aspects of nature. The temples are not just places of worship, but are also centers of community and cultural preservation, where the stories, rituals, and traditions associated with Raijin and Fujin are kept alive. The reverence for Raijin and Fujin also culminates in various festivals throughout Japan. These events are vibrant, filled with music, dance, and the echoing beat of drums that mimic the sounds of thunder, drawing a direct parallel to Raijin's power. Lanterns and flags, often bearing the images of Raijin and Fujin, adorn streets and temples, creating an atmosphere of celebration and reverence. These festivals are not only a testament to the gods' enduring presence in the lives of the people, but also an opportunity for communities to come together, to share in the bounty and protection the gods offer. Raijin and Fujin stand as towering figures within Japanese mythology, embodying the raw and majestic forces of nature that both create and destroy. Their stories serve as reminders of the powerful forces at play in the natural world. Through the worship of Raijin and Fujin, people express their awe, fears, and hopes, acknowledging the gods' might while seeking their protection and blessings. This dynamic between the human and the divine highlights a broader recognition of the interconnectedness of all things, the cycles of nature that govern life, and the importance of living in harmony with the world around us. In the end, Raijin and Fujin are not just mythological figures. They are symbols of the enduring bond between humanity and the natural world. Their legends and the practices that honor them offer valuable insights into the cultural heritage of Japan, inviting us to reflect on our own relationship with the natural world. Thank you all for watching all the way to the end. I hope you enjoyed this as much as I enjoyed making it. What did you think? Did I miss any details? Let me know in the comments below. If this is your first time watching one of my videos, then welcome to the channel. I hope I earned a like and subscription in your eyes. If not, that's okay. I'll keep making videos until I do earn it. If you're a returning viewer, thank you so much for your continued support. I truly appreciate all the views, likes, subscriptions, and kind words and messages. Without you, this channel wouldn't be here today. That's it for now. I hope to see you all in the next one.